Are you a dancer, or specifically a belly dancer? And have you ever found yourself on stage stressed out because maybe a piece of your costume was falling apart, your nose was getting messy, or your eyebrows were starting to tremble like crazy? Then this is the right video for you. Namaste and welcome back for another appointment of our weekly A Cup of Tea. I'm Lamia Barbara. I am a dance and yoga teacher from Italy. I've been teaching dance and yoga internationally for the last 15 years in over 20 countries all around the world. I'm specialized in fusion belly dance, Indian classical dance and yoga, and I'm here to help you become a stronger, expressive and inspired dancer. If you're interested in any of these topics or would love to support my work, I suggest you subscribe to this channel so you don't miss the contents that I share with you every week. Today I would love to share with you my 5 top tips and must-have for dance performance. So if you are a dancer and you already performed, you definitely know that backstage is a messy space. You have lots of dancers everywhere. Sometimes you don't have enough space to change or make up, and you have very short schedules. So these 5 tips will be super helpful. So you have like a list of must-haves that will be super effective to help you to be more confident while you're on stage. My first tip is you never have enough pins. And by pins, I mean bobby pins and safety pins as well. Because this is from experience, from 15 years experience now. When you are putting things on your head or you're putting things in your costume, they really need to be super safe. So just go for it. You never have enough. Just that one more safety pin or that one more bobby pin will be the one that saves you from some tragedy going on stage, because it's kind of tragic when you're dancing and you start to feel that something is falling off from your head or from your costume. If this never happened or ever happened to you, please comment below, let me know. I would love to hear your stories. To me, it happened for sure, many times, unfortunately. And that's why this is like my first tip for you. Just go for it and have tons of safety pins and bobby pins and save them for the next performance. Always have I have a little box, like a tin box with all my safety pins and all my bobby pins, so they're like, I know they're collected there and I know where they are, and I know at the end of my costume making, makeup, hairdressing, I always go with more bobby pins and safety pins before just going on stage, so that when I go on stage I feel super confident that nothing will fall, but at least hopefully nothing will fall. You never know what might happen. But you know, that little inch of confidence might go a long way. My second tip is pack your temperature with you in your baggage. Sometimes theaters or venues or locations for shows don't have the actual temperature which is good for you, your body and your system to get ready before dancing, especially in the winter. It might get very cold sometimes in theaters or in venues, and you know, maybe they don't have a heater. I mean, everything can happen, so it's better if you pack your temperature with you. What I mean with that, just bring something to cover you, which is very warm. I usually use like a very beautiful poncho, which friend of mine gifted me, which is super duper warm because it's like wool. And when I finished preparing my costume and everything, I just wrap myself into this poncho and I start warming up, and it helps a lot to keep my temperature, so that when you go on stage your temperature is high enough and the energy is high enough. Because I think there's nothing worse than going on stage super cool, and by cool I mean like your temperature is cool. You start to like move in a very weird way and the body is not set to dance, and also this is where injuries come. So this is a very effective tool for you, regulate your temperature in a different way. My third tip, this is like must have for me. Always have a tissue and a towel backstage for you. I have a very messy nose in the sense that when I warm up, and maybe it's lower temperature outside, I start to drool from my nose. It's not very fancy to say, but this is the reality. And it happened many times that I was on stage, I was dancing, so my body temperature got higher, warming up, and I started to drool from my nose while I was on stage. And this was like so messy for me. Fortunately, thanks enough, no one could notice because it was from, far away. When you see someone on stage, it's not like having it in front of your face, and it was not also visible on photos or videos, but I can assure you it happened, and it happened many times. So one more tip for you is to always have a tissue or towel backstage, and just before getting on stage, 1 minute before getting on stage, check if your nose is okay, or maybe you want to remove some sweat, just feel more confident and go and get dancing. Did it ever happen to you? You were on stage, you were doing your thing, you were super happy, you were dancing, and then your face started to tremble, like especially here for me, like the eyebrow or the cheek or the jaw, I don't know, something starts to tremble. It's your muscle, the muscles of your face. So my fourth tip here is to always do some face warm up. Of course, you're going to warm up the whole body before you go on stage, but one thing we dancers sometimes miss is to warm up the face as well. And the face is so important when you're on stage, because I invite you just to look at yourself, be aware of what you're looking when you see a dancer. Of course, you're looking at her or his beautiful movements, but most of the times what you're looking at is her or his face, because face is the way we communicate the most. So it has to be properly, set before going on stage. So my suggestion, you always warm up a little bit of your face. You can massage before doing the makeup, and then you can do a few exercises just to, stretch the muscles and make them warmer, so that when you go on stage, you don't feel like this bad trembling that might disappoint you and make you feel less confident. And my last tip for you, my fifth tip, is if you're using a lipstick, always make sure it doesn't go on your teeth. So one thing you can do when you put your lipstick on is always to kiss a piece of towel, or just, like a finger, just remove the most part of it, so that just, the beautiful shape of the lipstick is there. You don't have more of that, because then sometimes when you're backstage, you're doing many things, you're warming up, and you're maybe talking to other dancers or just meditating on your own or whatever, the lipstick might go on your teeth and it paints your teeth, and it looks awful, especially in photos. If you're an audience and you're seeing a dancer from far away on stage, if it's a stage like a proper theater stage, you won't notice. If it's like a shisha bar or a venue where a location where the people are closer, you might notice, but definitely you will notice in the photos, in the pictures. So you don't want that. Maybe you want to avoid that. So my tip is to always check before going on stage, or just after you're putting your lipstick, just check your teeth. They're just with no painter, and everything will be all right. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me during this talk. If you loved this video and would like to see more, remember to subscribe to this channel, or take a look at my online school, Infusion Studies. You can support my work there or study with me dance and yoga. Thank you to all my students. See you next week, and namaste.